Redevelopment Commission for Tuesday, March 26, 2024 at 6 p.m. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Councilwoman Haynes Edwards.
Here.
Councilwoman Uzelak.
Here.
Councilwoman Hardaway is here. Councilwoman Chandler Felton.
Here.
Councilman Pettit.
Here. 5 members. We have a quorum. Next item, ladies, is the consent agenda. Accounts payable register voucher. Approval for March 26, 2024. Approval of the meeting minutes from February 27, 2024. And approval of the meeting minutes from March 19th. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Uzelak, seconded by Ms. Hardaway to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any comment from staff, Michael or Angie? We're all in line and caught up?
Correct.
Okay. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Under old business, we have a bill of sale from Midwest Aerospace Castings LLC, approval for the bill of sale documents, including authorization of final approval of economic development incentive disbursement. Angela.
As you may remember, we did award Midwest Aerospace an equipment incentive in 2023. This is the final piece of it. We couldn't pay out until they actually received the equipment and it was on site and it was paid for. So the remainder that will be dispersed is the $43,935.70. The total amount that was granted to them was not to exceed $375,000. Midwest Aerospace brought a $9.25 million investment to the town of Maryville. They're in what we call the old field house out in Ameriplex. They brought 25 new jobs with a $1.7 million payroll, and then they did retain about 20 full-time and part-time jobs with their existing relocation from Illinois.
Angie, that was at Miraplex?
Yes,
Okay.
the old field house.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to verify that.
Okay.
So this will be the final action we have to take in disbursement to finalize their economic development agreement.
Okay. Any other questions for Angie?
Second page, I do have a question. Is this the same thing, second page? So is it the sum of $10?
That's a good catch, Keisha.
No, it is correct. That's a Tom Pittman, because I asked, I was like, are we sure this is correct? And he said that is a legal amount.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, just like when you do a deed.
Okay.
Having a deed, you
Oh,
just
the
have
fee,
language in there,
like the
Okay.
fee.
$10.
And the recording. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Hardaway, second by Mrs. Uzelak to approve the bill of sale documents, including authorization of final approval of economic development incentive disbursement. Any further discussion? Since this is involving, I'm going to have to sign this, Joe. Roll call. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Councilwoman Haynes Edwards.
Aye.
Councilwoman Uzelak.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hardaway is aye. Councilwoman Chandler Felton.
Aye.
Councilman Pettit.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. The other item on old business, at the previous workshop, we heard a presentation from Robinson Engineering, and this is actually in Margie's ward, new portion of her ward, the Whitcomb Street corridor. And we have in front of us a Whitcomb Street alignment and intersection improvement, preliminary engineering and design engineering services with Robinson. And I believe at the end of this, on page 7, there is a not to exceed, and if I'm reading this correctly, Angie and Michael, it's a not to exceed of $200,000 for this portion. Does that sound correct?
On page 6 of 7, I read it the same way.
All right. And then they're asking for my John Hancock on this, so. And this would come out of, I would guess the allocation areas, Michael, to come out of the redevelopment district.
Yes.
And I don't know if there's any further questions. If everyone got a chance to take in the information and/or watch the video on what Robinson presented. The big, I guess, kind of the big thing that's come about in the last 2 to 3 years in your area, Margie, is the development by Randy Hall of Liberty Estates. I see Ross Brown's in the audience with Liberty Estates, and the amount of residential development that will be taking place out there over a 5 to 10 year period, coupled with the BRS Industrial Park, coupled with the fact that that's always been a back road to the county, right? I mean, the shortcut. So the traffic out in that area is only going to increase. And this is being somewhat proactive, I think, by the town and by the RDC. So, Margie, I don't know if you have any comments being in your ward.
Well, the traffic will definitely exceed. I just don't know about that dead man's curve.
Yeah, that's going to be the,
Something has got to be done with that. There were several accidents over the years. But I do like the project.
okay.
I think it will add to the economy of Maryville, and I think that it'll be looking pretty good when we're through.
Okay.
But it's that road that would have to be fixed.
Right.
Somehow with the light stop sign or something, I don't know, it's up to them.
Okay. Any further discussion on the proposal from Robinson? Seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Uzelak, seconded by Ms. Hardaway, to approve the Robinson Engineering request for the Whitcomb Street project for preliminary engineering not to exceed $200,000. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, since this is going to be a contract, Joe, roll call? Yep. Madam Secretary?
Councilwoman Haynes Edwards.
Aye.
Councilwoman Uzelak.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hardaway. Aye. Councilwoman Chandler Felton.
Aye.
Councilman Pettit.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, is there any other old business, Angie or Michael?
There is. As previously discussed in the workshop, we have the report presented from London Woody, Bob Swins, that's prepared for the Redevelopment Commission for the year end of December 31st, 2023. And it's the annual report that will be going to a public meeting at the town council, the first meeting in April. I believe it's on the 9th.
Yes.
And then it will be uploaded with the assistance of the clerk treasurer's office through the Gateway program by the deadline of April 15th.
Okay,
And as Councilman Pettit mentioned in the workshop, you may want to take a look at Exhibit A, where it speaks of the debt bonds and outstanding debt of the town in the redevelopment.
okay, thank you, Angie. We discussed this, obviously, in the workshop. I don't know if there's any additional questions.
So we'll need to take action and ratify a motion.
Okay.
You're the only one.
I thought you were gonna keep talking.
No, there's a couple times you'll find that I will shut my mouth, Keisha. Not often, but there will be sometimes. All right, motion by Mrs. Uzelak. Is it-
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Hardaway to ratify the 2023 RDC report prepared by London Woody. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Any other new business?
No other new business.
All right, thank you. General orders, we have a resolution 24-04, resolution of the Redevelopment Commission adopting rules and regulations pursuant to its authority under IC 36-714-8C and G.
And I will defer to Acting Manager, Mr. Griffin, in regards to the legalities of this resolution.
Well, we'll actually defer to Mr. Svetnoff about the legalities. But this set of rules is prepared pursuant to changes in state law that urge and highly commend the Redevelopment Commission to adopt its own rules. The key to these rules is the latter part, beginning, I think, on page 24, roughly. I'm sorry, 21 of 24. The Clerk Treasurer's Office has been confronted with payments that could be paid in advance of commission allowance, just like you have in your ordinance for the town. And so they were aware of this rule in the statute. So this will actually cover you on that. And it is a little bit more, while maintaining internal controls, it's a little more generous than the current ordinance for the town, which I think will give me an incentive to prepare an ordinance for the review of Mr. Svetnoff for the town to adopt as well. But this will actually help us deal with a backlog in the Office of the Clerk Treasurer in terms of anything that we want to pay in advance, so that they'll have these set of rules on file with them, and they'll be able to do that when they come from redevelopment controlled resources.
Okay, so in the last example, Michael, with the squad car purchase that we knew about in the 24 budget, we're coming out of the TIF, the allocation areas, those could have been paid to that vendor.
That is
And
correct.
then we would have approved them as an RDC?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay. It's a lengthy resolution, ladies. I don't know if you have any questions. I wholeheartedly trust staff impeccably with this matter, so.
Mr. President, you will want to review the rules of order, just to be sure you're comfortable with them. I think you can adopt this tonight because we do want to get this done for the portions that deal with the payment in advance of commission allowance. Then take a look and see if there's anything you want to change. You can do it by simple resolution. That's the beauty of it. But they are basically pro forma rules that I would have recommended to the council had they not adopted their own. They're right out of Roberts, which is consistent with your parliamentary authority.
Okay. Any questions of Michael?
Motion to adjourns are still in the rules, as a matter of fact.
All right. Thank you, Robert.
Robert,
It's Joseph.
it's Joseph.
It's
He's
Robert.
meaning like Robert's rules.
Robert's rules of
Robert's rules,
rules of Svetnoff.
Okay.
All right, if there's no further discussion, Chair will entertain a motion on Resolution 2404.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Uzelak, seconded by Mrs. Haynes Edwards. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, roll call.
Councilwoman Haynes Edwards.
Aye.
Councilwoman Uzelak.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hardaway is aye. Councilwoman Chandler Felton.
Aye.
Councilman Pettit.
Aye. 5 ayes, motion carries. Any other general orders, staff?
No.
Seeing none, according to Robert's Rules of Order, the chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. There you are, Mr. Svetnoff.